Time to learn more about an invasive species that is becoming a problem around the Capital Regional District. It's called eggleaf spurge. It's kind of hard not to say the name like you're talking about a comic book villain. And let's find out more about it. We got Hunter Jarratt on the line. He's an ecological restoration consultant based in Nanaimo. In fact, he's known online as the Invasive Species Guy. Well, hello. How are you?
Good morning, Ryan. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good this morning.
So you talk about all this stuff online, eh?
Yes. Invasive species are my thing. That's often a very big component of doing restoration work. So everything from English ivy to Scotch broom to, eggleaf spurge now.
Oh, cool. So if you want to find out more, check out the Invasive Species Guy. But also, let's talk about it right now. So first off, the name, eggleaf spurge, just sounds evil. What's with this thing?
Yeah, it does contain a milky sap, that's toxic to humans and livestock. So it is serious in that regard. But the name comes from the shape of the leaves, which are egg shaped. So
gotcha. So that's the egg leaf part of it. What does the spurge part of it mean?
Yeah, spurge is just kind of it's the type of plant.
Okay.
There are many different types of spurges. And this is, a very specific one. So there are spurges that are not invasive, but this is, Euphorbia oblongata. So that is the species name. So it's a very, very specific one that we're talking about.
And you mentioned that it's got the milky white kind of liquid inside of it, which is irritating to both people and animals, so nobody eats it. And the other thing that makes it stand out is it has bright yellow flowers.
Yes. Yeah, so it's got these very interesting flowers. So it's they actually are comprised of small male flowers, and then they have one small female flower, and they have these yellow bracts at their base and a whorl of yellowish green leaves, and that's kind of that is the flower structure, which is very interesting.
Hunter, where do we usually find it growing?
Right now, we're seeing it a lot on private land. So. Properties. It's kind of been, introduced to people's properties, and that's where it's starting to become an issue.
When you mean introduced, are people actually planting this by mistake?
Yeah, it's actually often sold as an ornamental plant. And that is a classic tale for many invasive species and how they arrive in people's gardens.
When does it cross over from being an ornamental plant that's just sort of in somebody's garden to an invasive species? Do they start to spread? Or how do you start getting that name, invasive species, and kind of become that problem?
Yeah, so invasive species are non-native species that have negative impacts associated with them, whether that be societally, environmentally, economically, and often it's kind of fits many of these different categories. And once these impacts are kind of noted and observed and often studied and researched, that's when things start to become listed as invasive. So it is a term that is often just thrown around, but we're talking about very specific lists of species, ones that the province tracks, for example, and organizations in the Invasive Species Network in the province as well.
And this one's crossed over to that. And why is this one such a problem? Talk us through the issue with this one spreading.
Yeah, so like many invasive species, it's not suitable for wildlife. So it's actually inedible to wildlife, reduces livestock forage. It inhibits the growth of nearby plants. Many invasive plants do this. So where you have an infestation underneath, there's nothing growing anymore. And we talked about the sap already, and they create monocultures that outcompete native plants. And diversity is really important to have on your landscape. And when you have monocultures, that puts you at risk for a lot of things. For example, extreme weather. You are less able to buffer the impacts of that if you only have one thing growing there. So diversity of species is really important.
All right. So the eggleaf spurge. It's starting to spread around and become a problem in Greater Victoria. Probably started as an ornamental plant in gardens, but it's becoming an issue. So what do we do about it? What's happening? Because I guess we're trying to deal with it. What's happening now?
Yeah, so right now it has a really unique status in the province. It's in the EDRR status. So that means early detection, rapid response. So where we know about it, because it has such a limited distribution in the province, our goal is still eradication. But we have to know where it's growing in order for us to be able to treat it and manage it. And so people are encouraged to report it where you see it. So there's actually a provincial app that we have called the Report Invasives BC app. You can kind of snap a photo. They'll ask you to provide a general size of the infestation. You can add any extra comments. Maybe it's growing in unique spots. And then these reports go straight to the province. And at that point, we can take action.
You dispatch the Spurge busters.
Exactly. We still have a chance at controlling it and eradicating it. And if we allow it to continue to spread kind of under the radar, then it will go down to, a different management category. And, we have all these different categories and it gets further and further away from eradication. So you might have heard of shining geranium. That used to be an EDRR species, and now it has spread so far that is now in the regional containment / control category. So it's a little bit too far gone at this point.
Right. So trying to keep this one from getting that far. It's called the eggleaf spurge. There's, as you just heard, a chance to report it if you see it, and trying to take care of it before it becomes an even bigger problem. We're talking to Hunter Jarratt. He's an ecological restoration consultant based in Nanaimo, but you can also find him online as the Invasive Species Guy. Thank you so much for talking us through this one. Interesting to learn about it. I haven't seen it. I'll be watching for it now, or at least I haven't noticed it, but I'll try to pay attention to see if I notice it now, especially at my own garden. So thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.